Alright, before I get into this review, I'd like to give a channel plug to Daddy Stabs, who has just started a RPG channel, and Murphy's Bow Rounder Dark. I don't know, sorry if I butchered that there, Doug. So if you want to see those guys' channels and you can't figure it out, hopefully they will reply below and you can just click on their names in the comment section and go on right over to their channels. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is Dungeonscape has requested a review of this, and the book originally retailed for $29.95. I got mine quite some time ago. In fact, I got pretty much all my 3.5 books, and it is thoroughly of the 3.5 line. It came out in 2007. Now, this book has a lot of things in it, but there's only one real reason that I bought this book, and that is for the acid-born shark. Hell yeah, I bought it for the acid-born shark. Hell no, I didn't buy it for no damn acid-born shark. This stupid son of a bitch looks like he just came back from a date 2 weeks ago with a female digester, and she won't call him back because he's too fucking imbecilic in return. Look at him. Look at that motherfucker. Look at him. He lives in acid. Someone got paid to make an acid-born shark. Let's put sharks in acid. That totally makes sense for a dungeon. People will come back to your house next week if you do this. If you put so little thought and time into what you're doing that you use the acid-born monster template. And right beside it is the dungeon bred monster template. I'm not even going to bother reading that one. Yeah, okay, I read a little bit of it. It said you could decrease the amount of food they need by one size category. No. Just stop. You do not need a dungeon bred monster template. When you're getting this low on ideas, just make the book smaller. You could have made this paperback and charged me 15 cents less. I would have been fine without the acid-born shark, without the acid-born template, without the dungeon bred monster. I don't need any of this trash. The acid-born shark is large size, and he is a CR3. Because, hey, why wouldn't a group of third-level characters fight a shark in a pit of acid? You know what happens when you come to the acid-filled pit with sharks in it? You just leave, man. Just leave. Because whatever's in that dungeon, somebody wants it more than you do. And that's just being a bastard by taking it away from them. Let them have whatever they want so much that they're willing to fill up a moat of acid and put sharks in it. That they have somehow made to not be eaten away by the acid. And it's acid, man. You don't want to fight something that has acid all over you. You know what will happen? You'll get acid on you. You cannot fight something coated and doused in acid in a pool of acid without getting acid all over you. You know what happens when you get doused in a vat of acid? You die. You die horribly. A horrible, horrible death. That's what happens. You don't take a point of damage or something. No, you die horribly. That's it. You can't jump in there and fight him. You just can't do that. That's ridiculous. That's when you tell the party members who jumped into the vat of acid because it does this much damage. No. No, you describe how they horribly, horribly, horribly die. And yeah, and then they don't come back and play with you because clearly you suck balls if you're using the acid-born shark. Just absolutely horrible. He's just horrible. And feel free to defend him, and I'll make fun of you for that. Now, the actual real reason to get a hold of this book is the factotum. And the book does have some silly-ass shit in it, like a whole chapter on traps. Yeah, you know my opinion on traps, and if you don't, go check out what Admiral Akbar had to say about traps, because they are a jack to you for having them in your game. But these traps don't need to make any damn sense. They're just traps. They're just there to do damage, to kill players, to give people a completely unsatisfactory end to the work they've done with their character, and to otherwise just be annoying and frustrating with no real rhyme or relevance. Traps are something I find completely useless. So that's another whole chapter that could be carved out of this book, as far as I'm concerned. But they did a really good thing here on marketing. Now, there are some prestige classes in here, and I think one of the big problems with Wizards of the Coast with the 3.0, 3.5 line is they went crazy on prestige classes. This prestige class, this, that, and the other thing. But I think the money, the draw, really is in base classes. People want to get involved and invested with that class from the beginning. And the factotum essentially really is something by the AD&D standards. It would have been essentially a bard kit. That's basically what he is. He is a bard that works so much better and is so much cleaner and more defined than what the bard is in the Player's Handbook. The factotum does all the same stuff, but there's flavor behind everything he does. The bard just, there's no divine magic, no reason I can heal you. The factotum has abilities, and the abilities are powered by inspiration points. The big problem with the factotum is, as far as I can find, in any officially sanctioned Wizards of the Coast products, there are absolutely no supporter feats for the factotum, which is very bad on any class to have no feat support. What they should have feat support for are inspiration points, to be able to do more with them, to be able to unlock more inspiration point used abilities, or to even acquire more inspiration points for your character. That's really important, because that's what the character runs off of. It's a decent enough character starting off. It uses a middle base attack bonus, has a D8 hit points, strong reflex save. It starts off with 2 inspiration points. Now, the inspiration points, what's great about them is they can be used for a broad number of things. They can allow you to have a D6 sneak attack, but you can't keep dropping them. You can't drop it up like a D5 sneak attack. It's just a D6. They can allow you to help access certain magical abilities, and they can allow you to have additional defensive and offensive bonuses to handling yourself from round to round. Now, if you're in a really... Well, they also give you a bonus to skills, which is really nice. If you have at least 1 rank in a skill, and factotums have 6+ intelligence modifier, and they have access to every single skill. Every single skill is a class skill for them, and that is awesome. So, for a guy who loves skills like me, I like the factotum. I've never played one. I played it in a game where my man Alan Dudley played one, and Alan Dudley did a great job with it. I loved seeing the character. I loved how it worked, even though the Game Master is completely jacked him on it. But the Game Master was a tool, so he did jack him on that. Still, it was really interesting to see how the class came across, and I would definitely be up for playing one, or up for having someone play one in a game that I ran. They have the trap finding abilities of thieves, so they kind of meet in the middle of a bard and a thief, and really come across much more as a jack of all trades than the bard does. The bard to me is so off the wall far from what a bard really is and what they tried to crunch it out. But this makes sense, and it has a lot of flavor, even in the small things. It has an ability called Arcane Dilettante, and I'll just read just a little bit of it to you. You know that with a few weird hand gestures and an array of grunts and bizarre words, you can conjure up something that looks like a spell. You know, that's going to take one of your inspiration points. So you're using these inspiration points a lot, and you have to really pick your spots. You know, sneak attack here, don't cast a spell. It's a class that's going to constantly engage your mind because you have a lot of options, but they're all kind of lower end options. Class is not in the class is overall, and I've heard people moan about it. Oh, the class is too powerful. You know all this stuff. It's not powerful. It's more on the bard level. It's a little more powerful than a bard, and a bard is a pretty weak character class in 3.5. So the thing is, you can do a lot of different things. However, you don't really exceed at anything, and really power comes from exceeding, from being able to dish out a massive amount of damage to being, almost unhittable or having a huge amount of damage reduction or something like that, where you make a powerful character. The character doesn't have any abilities at all that are problematic for a Game Master at all. He is kind of a character that can fit in and fill some spots a little bit, but he's not a wizard, he's not a cleric, he's not even a rogue. He's just someone who can handle all these different abilities. They have a cunning knowledge ability. They only have 1 rank in a skill. They can spend an inspiration point and add all their levels of factotum as like a bonus to that skill, which is really wonderful, particularly if you don't play in a hack and slash type game. And I think this character is far more at home not in a hack and slash game, because you're going to burn these inspiration points up pretty quick if you're having those like 4 encounters a day, hack and slash style. Maybe a hack and slash will even go more than that. I know the book is down to like 4 encounters a day. I don't know who possibly enjoys that style of gaming. It's not 14, but perhaps someone does. The class overall, again, I'm not going to go through all the abilities and read all of them, but there's a ton of different abilities that they have that they continue to unlock. The higher level they get, and as they build up, they get more inspiration points. So you can do more with your inspiration points, and you can spend them more because you have more of them. Overall, I really, really like the class. I bought the book 100% for this class. I sure as hell didn't buy it for the Acid-Born Shark. And when I saw it in there, I had to laugh at myself, because that was a jack to me. The book also has some standard class options where you can flip things out, which I like quite a bit. I talking with one of my friends the other day, my man Joe Hall, who was in my Mutants and Masterminds Players video, and he said, I really like that better, the standard class options, which is varying out what a barbarian can do at 3rd level, something like that, as opposed to the prestige classes. So, it has that. It has a 2-player prestige classes and 1 NPC prestige class. NPC prestige class seems really useless to me. You can do all that without ever having to read the prestige class. They have new magical items, new equipment, of course, new magic items. Another problem I have with some of these books. They apparently don't have new spells in there, which is awesome, because damned if I want more spells. I probably do. I probably should miss them. They have new magic items in here, new adventuring kits. They have new alchemical items. Alchemical items, I don't know. Again, like I said, you have standard class options. I really quite like the one for the fighter. It's about taking, essentially ramming people into walls. Basically putting that big shoulder block on a man and just slamming him into a wall. And I can get with that. That is something I could be happy as a player to describe. How I put the giant pro wrestling style. And any kind of class is going to give me pro wrestling style abilities. I'm going to get with that. Or any kind of class feature buyout. And I actually, a game that, Waffler, didn't even actually ever run the game. But I put together a character with that, an orc, a full orc, who was just running people into walls. And I thought that would be pretty cool, the way I had it built up. I like the buyout there for fighters in this class. I don't remember any of the other ones off the top of my head, so they probably weren't at least that interesting to me. The book goes in a lot into dungeons, how to build dungeons, to make your dungeons different and interesting, and it gives you some pretty good ideas in there to incorporate different sort of terrains, how to do the exact, doing battle maps. If you're a big battle mapper, I am not. I will pull the big battle map out actually, I have smaller battle maps. I don't have one of those big Chessex ones. I have just smaller ones, because I don't really care about it. I don't have, miniatures. I put some of my kids' toys or some dice on the board. It's just not something I care about. It doesn't really add to the game for me. I mostly just will role play out, and I can balance in my head where people are to adjudicate attacks, opportunity, and so forth. If there are only a few monsters, if I have 20 monsters, for example, I'm going to pull out the board, because it gets too hectic and confusing then. But it gives you, examples of what you can do. And for a new game master, I think the dungeon stuff, although, again, it does have a chapter on traps, points down for that, but it does have some nice stuff about dungeons and some things that you can bring in to add texture and context and flavor to the dungeon, have reasons for it being there, and to make it different, to make it stand out, to make it not just be, a bunch of stones and, or maybe an earthen dungeon or a cavern. They give you some more ideas besides that. Has a few other new monsters in there, like a rot grub swarm. The picture actually is kind of cool, but to me that was just kind of odd, because what's scary to here? I'll show you the picture. What's scary to me about rot grubs is the fact that they're just there, they're on stuff, and you actually brush up against them, and then you got rot grubs on them. You don't even know until it's a jack for you, and then that's when your ass gets sorted out properly. I like rot grubs. Used to use them back in the 82nd edition Ravenloft game I ran 4.5 years. And the rot grubs work out nicely, get people kind of thinking off it. But here, at least from the picture that I just showed you guys, it looks like they're charging you. I'm like, rot grubs shouldn't be charging you. They should be more insidious. They're still, and you just have to. Oh, I grabbed the cloak. And it was one of those great fuck those players that just try to be grabbing everything and putting it on. And I'm sure a lot of you back in the high school days remember everyone trying to grab that treasure. And trying to do degrees, or at least some people would. Not everybody. I don't want to be unfair, but I definitely saw that a lot. And rot grubs were a jack to those players, and so it would be quite funny. Then they would be infected with rot grubs. But the fact that rot grubs running at people, I know I'm talking about that a bit too long. It just seems silly. To me, that's not scary. That doesn't scare me at all. Picking up a cloak and being like, are there parasites in here, or books, or what have you? That's kind of scary. That. Kind of some legitimate real world stuff, put it on a parasite that gets in your body, but just like in the real world, parasites aren't scary at all if they just run at you. You just put a boot to one and they die immediately. I'll guarantee you that they'll take a boot and that'll be it for them. So yeah, little tiny rot grubs aren't really doing it for me. A picture of an illicit. It looks like someone interrupted him taking a dump. He's had better days, I feel. it gives you various dungeon features like walls, floors, doors, bridges, chutes and chimneys. Talks about smaller things in there, like ladders and altars and various machinery. If you want to go a bit more technical, tools, stairs, statues, even teleporters, which I'm not really a big fan of that, but I suppose for some things. Gives you some adventure hooks, which are always a good thing. I think adventure hooks are excellent if it can get you sparked. I've taken an adventure hook in the back of the book and gone like way over here with it. You know, where it's like 18 ideas different. There's literally nothing of that adventure idea, but the adventure idea, just like flipping through a monster manual, got me thinking. It got my mind working and like, oh yeah, I think now I'm on to this. So I'm a big fan of adventure hooks. I think they should probably they should probably include more of them when they do them, and probably put them in more books. So that has been my review of 3.5 Dungeonscape. You can see the beholder, the guy with the flaming sword. I think it's quite a nice picture on the front too. Like the blue, looks like a blue laser light show here from the beholder, and you know, you see the flaming sword. I've always been a big fan of flaming swords. I think they just really aesthetically look cool. You have a tiefling over there. There's a back cover, quite nice. More beholders. I don't know why. I don't know what group is possibly going to fight like 4 beholders. That's kind of ridiculous in my mind. But that has been Dungeonscape. So if you guys have any more specific questions, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and